event in 2026. Let me check real quick because today we will have a very, very interesting live event. And hi, everyone. And this time at Alva is the first for real, even before I started the live event. So, hi, everyone. Let me know if the audio is okay, if everything looks right. Everything looks right on my end. Let me check. Okay, I want to share this on social media. If you are here, just make some noise. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Audio is perfect. Okay, we started the 2026 in the right way. So before I will invite my very special guest, first of all, hi everyone. I want to gift right now some memberships. Bam, like this. 5 memberships for people here in the chat. Make some noise. Hamza from Paris. Where is everyone from? I'm excited. I think I organized this a couple of weeks ago. So let's do it. Let's gift 5 more. I want to start this 2026 in the best possible way. So hi everyone, 10 lucky people, 10 lucky people. And hi everyone, I want, hey Razvan, I want to start my live event by showing this. So today I woke up and this was my good morning of the day. Greg Brockman, probably you know him, president and co-founder of OpenAI, tweeted out of the box, out of the blue, Rust is a perfect language for agents, given that if it compiles, it's correct. So basically, Greg introduced the today's live event. Perfect. So let's start. And hi everyone. I hope you'll have a great 2026. Today we will talk about Rust and AI. And to do this, I need to invite on stage a person that knows a lot about Rust and artificial intelligence. Let's welcome everyone, Joshua. Joshua, how are you? How is it going?
Yeah, it's going great. Thank you for inviting me on. Fantastic. It's it's a great privilege.
Yeah, no, it's an honor for me to have you here. I wanted you to be my first guest of 2026 because since 2024, I've been laser focused on Rust, just Rust, smart pointers, where everyone was talking about MCP servers, everything else. I just focused on the basics. I think that now it's time, also because I published a book. I went to RustConf in Seattle. It's time also for me to move into that direction. Hi everyone, hi Lou, many people in the chat. So hi everyone. Joshua, please introduce yourself and then we can get started. I think we'll also have some demo. We'll show also some code today. So it's not be just a simple podcast, but we'll get our hands dirty just to warm up for our 2026. Joshua, please introduce yourself.
For sure. So, hi everyone. I'm Josh. So currently, I'm the maintainer for an AI agent framework in Rust called Rig. We are currently the largest AI framework in Rust, I guess. We're currently being used by Neon, Nethermind, Coral Protocol, and quite a few other companies. We've also had interest from companies like Runway ML, who are interested in building prototypes using Rig. As for me, so I've actually been in tech for just under 3 years now. I've been I was hired as a co-maintainer last year in January, actually, so coming up to 1 year to be a co-maintainer on Rig. And then in April, I was made solo maintainer in April. Before that, I was working as a technical writer for a cloud for a cloud platform company, doing Rust education, helping people get into Rust for web development.
Perfect. So for example, I didn't know that. I'm much into Rust and web development. Shameless plug.
Yeah.
I have a talk in less than 2 hours about Rust and web development 2026, along with the big people in the Rust ecosystem, and then there is me, Francesco, the Italian guy. So feeling honored for that. I didn't know that. So we might even do more collaborations in 2026. Hi everyone. Yes, you are not late. You're not late. I want you to introduce Rig, so we can warm up. Then we'll have a very short Q&A session if you want to ask anything specific. And then I think there is also a surprise. You sent me something, so we have also something that we can show, but later. Okay, so hi everyone, and please, Josh, can you let us know more, like what is Rig, what is the problem that it solves? And I think you are right telling that it's the biggest, let's say, AI framework. How can you define it?
Yeah. So initially, we just wanted to make a modular, opinionated framework for building Rust applications that use large language models, because we saw a large gap in the space essentially where no work was being done to kind of support large language models, because historically the Rust community has not really had a great reaction towards using AI and generative AI specifically. But in recent times, we've seen a large uptick in people being interested in AI. So that's kind of where why we made Rig, why the original team made Rig, to kind of fill a gap in the ecosystem essentially. So late 2024, when I say I actually found out about Rig, and I was really interested in the project, and I wanted to work with the team, which is kind of why and how I started towards working with them, right? So in terms of Rig itself, so we have our own provider integrations. So we support currently about 20 plus different providers out of the box, with side packages for users who want to use, for example, Google Vertex, AWS Bedrock, and some other providers as well. You also, of course, support tool usage, because we're primarily focused on agents. We also try to make the framework as idiomatic to use as possible. We want to say, AI libraries are kind of very focused on boilerplate generation. For example, LangChain, it focuses mostly on trying to make it as easy as possible to make agents, right? Or use an LLM. But we want to make the experience as easy to integrate into a current system as possible through the Rust type system and things like that. We also have of course we also support all the traditional Rust API providers, but with the Llama CPP crates coming out, or the the PyTorch Rust crates that can be integrated and stuff, there's still there's a lot of power behind using Rust versus Python.
Great. So, and we also, can you hear me? Yes. Okay. And perfect. Yes. And yes, I just released also Rust book. So finally I'm free to do more of these live events. We have also some questions. First of all, I wanted to take this one. So you are also doing a Rig bootcamp soon? Or does it has to happen yet?
Yes.
Because
yes.
I read something, but is this happening or not? I'm curious because I'm
so I kind of had an idea in my head about doing some kind of like online workshop or something just to try and ease people into using Rust for AI, because I know Rust seems like very intimidating to a lot of people, and I thought, let's make it easier for people to try and get into building these kind of systems with AI, because it's really important that we get the system right? Because if the environment that the AI agent is in isn't very secure, then it's very difficult to be able to trust it. And I think that part is very important, because we're kind of living in a world now where our development environments are being or increasingly dominated by these non-deterministic workflows.
Yes.
Um, Yeah, so as a TLDR, it will be coming soon. I'll do an announcement as soon as I've figured everything out, and yeah.
Perfect. I want to be there, so I'll be sure. So
Of
if you
course,
want,
of course.
if you want to get updates, for example, you can follow Josh everywhere. So when he will announce it, you will know. Perfect. Yes. So we have one question about Microsoft, but no, let's focus on Rig for now. Of course, we have someone, of course, who's asking, what is Rig? How would you explain Rig if we were at a party with a cocktail in our hand? How would you explain that to me, like to an after party?
Okay. In 3 words, it could be described as LangChain in Rust, but the long answer is that we want it to be a lot more than that, because we're trying to build on lessons learned from mistakes that LangChain and other frameworks have kind of made through their design choices. So one of the things that we kind of figured out or learned was that LangChain has a lot of these like vector store community integrations, which is great, right? It's great. I'm going to be honest, it is very convenient to just like install a dependency and then use it. But on the other hand, it also creates a line of dependency for the maintainers, which can, it can very easily increase the amount of code maintenance burden for the team, which can in the long run be quite damaging to the health of the main repo. So we've learned to kind of be quite careful in that regard.
Perfect. Thank you. I want to quickly highlight this one because I'm currently working on creating Axum tutorials, and this is super interesting for me. So, I'm like I created an Axum tutorial before jumping in this live event. I will talk about Rust and web development in 2 hours. You are two, of course. We'll talk about the rig. So this comment is quite interesting, and it quite closes the circle of all my morning and the things I do behind the scenes. So this is amazing. This is something that probably I will do. So because of course Axon for the backend APIs, and then of course you can integrate it. So this is, I think, one of the parts that might be super interesting for me. Perfect. I want to. Okay, let's pick some questions. So let's get let's say 5 more minutes or the time that we have. So drop your questions now, and then I want to get into the surprise that we have for you. So you stay for a while, because we could also share the code and stuff, but we will see. So let's go with some of these questions. So we have many, but I'll try to pick as many as possible. Is Rig working with audio and video real-time data?
So currently we're focused on text completions at the moment, just because audio and video real-time data is very complex. It currently requires, knowledge of automatic speech recognition. You need to know about, complex audio pipelines and how to deal with them. And that's currently not something I believe the core library is looking to support. Of course, anyone can build on Rig. You can do whatever you want. You can, make a side package. I know there's like a small but growing ecosystem of people who are basically writing their own add-ons for Rig and publishing them as crates. But yeah, I actually have my own experimental crate that I'll put out where I added support for OpenAI real-time and added audio support for that. But one of the issues that I had was that handling audio is really difficult. You would probably need someone from 11 Labs or whatever who's really experienced with that kind of stuff already to be able to hack it.
Yes, I know, because 2 years ago I made a presentation on how you can create a live translator using Rust and calling directly the OpenAI API. So I quite know this is quite challenging. I've used just the browser API for JavaScript, and it was 2 years ago. So this might be very interesting for me, but it was a live translator. Like I speak in a language and you see the subtitles in another language. So quite interesting one. Of course, and the developers just want to fight. So let's give them what they want. Yeah, exactly. I am at a level that I accept this as something that people just want. But of course, we are joking. Compared to Python, LangChain, where does Rig offer the biggest performance gain?
So I want to say that, first of all, if you're calling OpenAI or Anthropic or any of the major LLM providers through API calls, Rig itself will not give you that much of a performance gain. The primary use case for Rig is being integrated into other systems as, like, for example, the last 1% that you need, basically. Because the main advantage of Rig is that you can integrate it into other Rust systems, which are then, much more performant than Python, for example.
Right.
I mean, I've personally used Python for file processing, and it's okay, but you can do much better, right? You can do much better.
Yeah, I've been using Python extensively in a professional way, despite what people might think on Twitter. And but yes, yeah. And for example, I'm really interested about the integration of let's say Rig and Axiom. I think it's a very good combo. I started to make some benchmarks between Axiom, Actix, and Node.js on Grafana K6, for example, yesterday. And this might be, of course, interesting. I released a video about Ratat UI. I also know the creator. So, give us some time, because the things are moving very fast. So the more we do these things, the more ideas we have. Yes, of course. Yes, I released a video about how to impress your crush using Rust a couple of weeks ago. Quite funny. And yes, okay. Perfect, Josh. So, okay, what else can we say about Rig before we start, sharing the project that you want to show us? Anything else that I think it's worth mentioning about the ecosystem, about the project itself? And maybe I'll start finding, of course, leave a start to the GitHub project, something about the current status, and something else that you want to add before we jump into this little demo.
All right. I saw a question about switching providers.
Oh my God, I think I missed it. Okay, if you find it, I can find it. I found this one, which is the Quadrant. I also made a video about this with the developer advocate of Quadrant. So again, things that I did. What about this? Rig?
The short answer is yeah.
Perfect. Okay, perfect. And I can't find the question you mentioned before, but you can answer if you want.
So basically, the way that we provide the integrations is that they're all under one unified API, basically. So you can switch providers whenever you want. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I was about to share the GitHub project. You crossed the 5,000 stars, so the project, it's something. It means that slowly. But I wanted to say this live, so in 1 year, in 6 months, we know that in January we had only 5,000 because I want this project to have at least 10,000 by February. So we needed to work hard before we will meet. So of course. So, and just check it out. So everything is here. Let's pick this one, and then I think we can jump into showcasing some code. Do you guys know an integration example between rig and knowledge graph libraries or databases? Yes.
Not that we have an example for Neo4j, but it focuses more on straight RAG rather than using graphs.
Okay.
There was some work done internally for graph RAG and stuff like that, but it still needs to be finished up and pushed out. That's the long and short of it.
Perfect. Okay, no problem. So I think we are warmed up. Everyone is here. We can start, checking a bit more into the details. I hope everyone is ready for this. I'm super excited. I took just a little glimpse of this, but I also have, my honest reaction to this. So this is not something that we planned, but I really would like to Josh, to you to maybe share your screen and introduce us to what you want to show us today. So when you are ready, you can share your screen. Let me know when you are ready. Then hi, Hork. Yes. +1 fork. Amazing.
Cool. I'm about to show my screen.
Yes, we are doing a mega live event I think you already shared the screen. I just can see the preview. We are doing a live event on the Orc Dev YouTube channel on the 10th of January, like with 8 people. So big live stream with many people. I will share the link later, of course. Shout out to Orc Dev. Okay, I can share. 1 second. You can. Okay, let me try to do this. Okay, now you can share maybe something on your screen. I can barely see it. Let's see. Okay. Can you see? Yeah, we can see. You shared the screen 2 times, but it should be fine. Yes, perfect. Okay, so Josh, please introduce us to this project. What you want to show us, and in case you want to share any link, share that on the private chat so I can share it here. Okay.
Yep, for sure. So this is Rig. So we currently describe ourselves as a Rust library for building scalable, modular, and ergonomic LLM-powered applications. Currently, we sit around 5.3k stars, 600 forks, and about 130 contributors. So in terms of features, pretty much gone over this already, but we have multi-tenant streaming, observability, model providers, vector stores, full support for a lot of different types of workflows, pipelines as well, and WebAssembly compatibility. In terms of who's using Rig, St. Jude is using Rig for a genomics visualization tool called Protein Paint. And you can see, like, there's quite a few people using us. In terms of how to get started, so you can see here that we simply use cargo add rig-core, which is the core library at the moment, followed by a simple example. So here you can see that we simply use Tokyo main to get the async runtime. So Tokyo, if you're not well acquainted with Rust, Tokyo is currently the most popular async runtime in Rust because Rust itself does not come with an async runtime. What it does offer is these things called futures. So futures are essentially tasks that need to be polled by a executor. So think about it like this, right? You have a worker that kind of just lazes around. He's kind of lazy. His boss comes up to him and asks him, "Hey, what's the status on the thing you're working on?" And then the worker will like, "Oh, I need to do some work," and then he does some work and presents it back to the boss. So in that way, we kind of pull features to execution. It's kind of like promises in JavaScript, but for the most part, you don't need to know the underlying details. The main thing is like you add this macro and it works. Right?
Usually, what I say is that yes, you added this attribute on top, then now you can magically add this async keyword in front of your FN main, and magically your application becomes an asynchronous application. For example, this is how Axum works, also because the team from Tokyo made Axum, so that's of course intentional. So here we have an asynchronous project by default. And this is a very dry example. I like that it's quite short. It's not super long. We have OpenAI client from an environment variable. We define this GPT-4. I think soon you should meet the GPT-5.
Yeah, soon we'll be upgrading. We'll be upgrading it to use GPT-5.
Yeah, if they keep releasing stuff, we need, of course, to catch up. But no, but I think it's also doing this sort of events. It's important, so you can also check it is again with us. But no problem, we will have the updated version soon. And here we have the response. We have all the supported integration here, and I love that this is really simple, I would say. Yes, I can see all the integrations here, also the Quadrant, AWS, Google Vertex. I'm interested into the Google one. This might actually be my first one. Of course, today we can do whatever we want. But of course, be sure to check the project. I also forked the project. Maybe I will work on some issues live. Who knows? I already checked a couple of issues that I might work on. Something simple, of course, at the beginning. Josh, what do you think? Are we ready to show some stuff? Do you want to show something like specific today?
Yeah, for sure.
Perfect. Someone is asking, you see, can you show some basic? So people really want this. So I was sure that we wanted to do a more interactive session. So for your delight, we will call on the 3rd of January. And I'm super excited, Josh. And of course, I pray all the demigods. And I like the idea, yes, that we are here in a new project. And we can add the rig core Tokyo with multi-thread. And
so here you can see that we've simply added the crates that we need. I've already added my OpenAI key as an environment variable.
Don't click on it. Okay.
Yeah.
And the hardest part of live events is this: to be careful to not dox your API key, but whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
So here we're going to create our client.
Yes.
So OpenAI client from environment variable, and then we're going to create our agents. So client.agent GPT-5, and then we'll add the I think I need to save it. Right, there we go. So the from environment variable actually relies on the provider client trait, which you need to import. Fortunately, the LSP knows this by default and asks me to import it, which is great. So now we can go back to building our agent. So this is not quite right. Client dot. There we go. So here we actually take a string. So you don't need to use an enum or anything. We do provide, a bunch of constants that you can use. GPT-5.
I mean, if you want to use them as constant, nobody's stopping you, but also strings, pure strings.
Yeah. So you can use string literals or constants. It doesn't really matter.
Mm-hmm.
And then
I like
we can add something called a preamble. So a preamble is in rig terms is essentially the system prompt.
Okay.
So we kind of wanted to separate this because some providers have the system prompt added as a message within the message history. Other providers have it set as the instructions field. So we wanted to kind of make it separate.
I really like this because you're talking about the integrations with different systems.
Yeah, for sure.
This is the hard part where you try, to basically create an interface that works with different systems and the integration, of course. So cool. I really like that.
Yeah.
Let's make some noise. Let's make some noise and cheer for Josh because he's coding live without AI. I really appreciate that. Very human like demo. Loved. Really loved it. It helps us to understand better.
Yeah. So like in the previous example, we use the prompt method to send a message without any message history. For example, we can also use the chat history as well. So if we wanted to attach, a chat history, for example, we can do so like so with the chat method, essentially, which turns this into a prompt request with chat history. There isn't too much to add on to that. So I guess let's move on to using tools very quickly, since I know tools are a core part of agentic systems and using agents and stuff like that. So in terms of how tools work, a tool in rig essentially implements the tool trait pretty much. So we need a name. So we call this adder, I don't know. And then we need an args. So we need to define an arguments thing here. X I32, Y I32. So this tool will simply just add two numbers together. We also need to add Serde, which is for serializing and deserializing arguments. Because when you send tool requests and receive tool responses, they're all in JSON. So we use the Serde crate for it. And then by adding the derive function, we can simply derive it at the top here. And then for the tool error, you can use your own custom error type here. But in terms of that, we can simply just use tool error. There isn't really anything stopping you from creating your own error type, but this is the most convenient method, I guess.
Yeah, of course. This is just, and I think that the more we'll get, more people that are ready, no Rust in these tutorials, the more people will understand at first glance. I hope that for everyone, everything is clear. Of course, this is not a basic Rust tutorial because I made basically a video on each of these things, structs, methods, and so on. And maybe one question is that, can you maybe repeat like what's the final goal of this small example?
Oh yeah. So this small example is mainly intended to show how to use rig, I guess.
Okay.
I'm not sure if going into how to use tools is too difficult. I mean, we can probably shorten this down to a macro. So tool should be tool macro. Very core of macros.
By the way, you are allowed to check documentation and use it. By the way, so it's just I don't know what this rig tool macro is. Let's check.
Yeah, that should
What
be
should be
correct
that for? What should be that for? The rig tool macro?
So, so the rig tool macro essentially just turns a function into like this entire really complicated thing.
Yeah.
So adds X to Y.
Just for people who are not much into Rust, what we are calling here macro attributes, it's basically similar to attributes in C# or decorators. So it's something that we put on top of a function to give some superpowers to a function. Just to, in layman terms, for people who are not much into Rust. But that's basically it. You should understand, because maybe also in your programming language, this is also a feature. Also, this the syntax is very similar to C# here.
Yeah. So you can see that pretty much we just added this like macro annotation, and it turns this simple function that adds X and Y together into the full into a struct that essentially has the traits implemented on top of it. So the tool trait. And then pretty much how we can use it is that you use .tool here. So it should be add tool. I think.
There is absolutely no shame in checking documentation. And this is, I also want like people in the chat to just say that we can be relaxed and check the stuff. That's absolutely allowed. I really love this style. Like, I think I haven't seen like someone coding without AI for at least a year. So it's huge respect. Some people are even are loving this one. This tutorial, yes, will be recorded, no problem. But if you can stay, it will be fun. It will be fun. We also have some questions, but we will pick them. We will pick them later. Let's see. Living life in hardcore mode, exactly. Hold on, Deb, we are here. We talked about Ratat UI before. We should make a collaboration. Love this. Now you are pushing me to do something similar like this. I make do this as a challenge now. So
yeah.
if you want, you can let me know if you want me to code like this, because I think that people in the chat, they like to see other developers to suffer. I noticed that when I do something like this, people they're engaging more, and I see more people here. Respect, this guy is a gem.
Right. Let's see.
Okay.
Hopefully the demo gods will be happy.
No, for me you already won. Because this is done, in the least, let's say, AI-ish way. I like that we are building an AI application, but without using AI. So
yeah, it is funny. Like when I thought about it before, it always seems a bit weird that like I would say to people that I maintain an AI repo, but I don't use AI, and they laugh. Which, now that I think about it, it does seem a bit weird.
Yeah, no, but I think that for learning purpose, I think maybe for big projects it's impossible. Otherwise, we will make a 10-hour live stream. But for very small projects, like very small examples, we have less noise, so you can see. So let's check it out, and so we can keep going. Yes, interested into a Ratat UI project.
So we minus the warnings that Clippy has given me, we run the demo and it comes out with a response of 5, which is correct.
Okay, response of...
For just adding 2 and 3 together.
Okay, got it. Okay, so we are using AI to make 2 plus 3. I love it.
Well, I mean, this could theoretically be whatever you want. But
I love it. I love it. I love it. Now,
We
can
can't
we
even
make?
do developers
Yes,
can't even do math without AI anymore.
of course, of course. No, I was expecting more, the is even or is odd thing. I think that it's not that hard to do, but of course, here you need to really be open-minded and see the potential. We are trying to make the example as dry as possible, so you can actually understand. I like that it's very dry because basically in the prompt you can write a normal prompt. I think that in some maybe some more advanced example, you can also, of course, get something in input, for example. And for example, now I'm already very curious to do, for example, an Axiom integration with rig. So this you basically turn this into a web server. So
Yeah.
this will be very interesting, I think. So very very cool, very nice, nice and example. I would say we didn't use a third. I think, of course, Rust is complaining because he declared
Yeah.
something and
We're
then
using
we are
things
not
that we
using.
don't
I'm sorry, Rust compiler. I'm sorry.
need.
I'm guilty. I'm not worthy. I love it. But yeah,
Alright.
okay. So this was a very nice example. We can make a very quick Q&A. Let's say if you have some questions, just drop it. Let's see. Do tools under the hood use some protocol like MCP, or is it a simple system prompt?
So we actually already have an integration for MCP using the RMCP crate. So RMCP is the official Rust SDK for integrating model context protocol into your rig application. So if we actually just go back to the examples here, we actually
I'm
have an
interested.
example for
I'm
this.
interested because I want to build an MCP server in Rust live in 3 months. I have a talk which will be about this. So this will be
Okay.
an interest. This will be an interest in 2026.
Yeah.
And of course, Rig, as any other Rust project, can, especially if you put, for example, this into a to integrate also with Axiom, you can integrate, for example, this in a Docker container and deploy it, for example.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, don't even ask me because this should be, of course, it's a crate, but I just because it helps me to remind the potential of this, that you have basically a crate that helps you to build LLM applications. Very
Yeah.
interesting. Let's see if we can get another.
So this implementation is quite long, but essentially you have a tool router where you implement some methods for a struct. And then the tool handler macro turns the struct into a launchable MCP server, essentially.
Okay. These rig core examples. I think we are in rig core example. Yes. So now I want to share this link. So okay.
And then so in the main function, we spawn a new task that will clone the service and run it. It will accept connections and spawn another task to serve the connection, so to handle the request essentially. And then in the main function, we go back, make a client. We try to get a connection. We get the server to list tools. We then create our client. We add all the tools using the RMCP tools chain method. We prompt the agent. And then we use a method called multi-turn, which allows for example, if your agent wants to execute more than one round or step or turn of tool calling, then this kind of allows for that. So one of the issues that we stumbled across was, should we allow users to, infinitely call tools on their agents? And the answer to that was obviously not. because if you're infinitely calling tools, then your token usage is likely to skyrocket, which is not great, right? No one wants to wake up to a £500 or $500 OpenAI bill because they forgot to limit how often their agent can call tools.
Of course, but this is nothing to do with Rust. It's nothing to do with rig. So problems that we had even in the 90s. So yes. So basically, if correct me if I'm wrong. So this is an example of how you use the MCP crate. Crate is basically a package in Rust, and integrated with a rig core. So rig core and MCP crate. So this is very interesting. This might actually be something that I get inspired from you when I have to build the MCP server for us. So thank you. This is already worth it, because that will be in 2 months. So in February we will meet at Rust Nation. Then in March I have this talk about building Rust MCP server. Okay, cool. And then of course you have here all the integrations that an MCP has, and also the rig crate. Right?
Yeah.
Cool. Very, very cool. And I think it's also a nice length, like in the example. It's not like super short, and it's not super long, like the 200 lengths of code. It's perfect. I like it. Some people they keep calling for Ratatouille for UI. Just give us some time. You should give us some time, but slowly we will integrate. We will have, of course, more guests, and at the end, no, I'm here also because I'm getting some ideas or stuff. But for what I've seen so far, I really like the idea. I really like these examples part on GitHub, so you can actually check some examples. I see agent with Grok. And I see some other things. I might even do some binge watching, or I can even do a dedicated live event to these examples. You see.
Yeah, there's like millions of these examples.
But by the time we will make all these examples, we will have 100 more. So it's this is how it is. So it's not. But this is why I think we started doing this thing, because we like things that evolve very, very fast. Really like it.
Sure.
Yes.
Sure.
Perfect. So I really like this example. And do you have another one, the one you sent me? Do you still want to do that or not? So we are not done yet. So for people who are here, so you thought that we were done with the basic example, but we are not. We will do one live event. Just give me some time, because I also many things that are happening in the meanwhile. Perfect. Let's see what we have here. This is another example, right? This is the one you sent me. I checked this just a couple of minutes, but so I want you to introduce this, because this project looked very interesting. We're not done yet, Jason. You still have some time. So, Josh, what is this project about?
So, last year, I was recommended to read an article by my friend Prashanth from LanceDB, I believe, about a thing called recursive language models, where essentially it's kind of a paradigm where the LLM is allowed to call itself and just execute code instead of using tools. And I found it very compelling, because essentially by doing so, you can eliminate a lot of the current, the most optimal agent structures at the moment are kind of, AI workflows, which are being very heavily pushed at the moment, and multi-agent systems, right? But with recursive language models, you don't actually need either of them, because recursive language models can call themselves, they can execute code, which eliminates the need for both tools and workflows, because essentially what an RLM does is that it stores its own state, in a thing called a REPL, so read eval print line loop, which you kind of feed input into and it returns the output back to you. It can store its own context. And this demo is kind of a Rust rewrite, I guess, of it, or a Rust interpretation.
Let's see. I'm excited. Yes, let me know if you want to see more live events like this with more code, a bit less chat. And let's see. Maybe you can check also the cargo.tom before, because I wanted to check the dependencies.
Yes. All right. Okay. So as you can see, there's very
few. I know most of them. For example, let me try. Can I try? So I don't know one shot. So I need help there. What is one shot?
So one shot is it's a crate that does essentially one thing, right? So it's to set up one-shot channels. So a one-shot channel is essentially a channel that you can send exactly one value into, and then the channel will basically be finished, and that's it.
Okay, then Py03 should be to call Python code. It's like a FFI for Python.
Yeah.
Something like that. It's a bridge between Rust and Python.
Yeah. So the primary use case for it is that you can call Rust from Python. Used famously in the Polars crate and many others. But what you may not know is that you can also call Python with it from a Rust crate, which is great for Python libraries like Spacey and other for example, machine learning libraries that Rust might not have that you really want to use. You can use Py03 for that. And here we have the auto initialize feature, which will initialize the Python runtime for you, but you need the shared library for whatever your system is, basically. So I'm on Pop! OS. I have the one from the App Store.
Perfect. Okay. And of course, request, it's not a typo, but it's like HTTP request. Rig core, now you know what is that. Tokyo with I, not Y, is the synchronous library for us. Tracing is for logging.
Yeah.
Okay. I need to dive deep into tracing, so I will dive deep, of course, one day, maybe in a live event. So okay, I knew 90% of these grades. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see this in action. Let's see some code.
All right. So I think the best thing to do is just to run cargo run.
First the demo, whatever you want. Let's see. Someone is asking, can we use other model providers like Google?
Yeah. We have Gemini already added as an integration.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm curious about making this example with Google, but after the Greg tweet, I don't know. I might even use OpenAI just because now I like OpenAI just won like 1,000 points with that tweet today. And I think we will use LM Studio, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. I think I used this just once. So here we are inside LM Studio. Mm-hmm.
It's busy generating. All right, while it's generating, let's just talk about what we're actually doing here.
Mm-hmm.
So here you can see that we simply have a main function where we set up the tracing subscriber to send logs to a standard out, so the terminal essentially. We have a new rig RLM, so a type that essentially builds on the rig agent for demo purposes. Then we have our prompt, we query it, we get the answer, and then we return the response back to the user.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So here we kind of have, so here we have an agent that is the OpenAI completions model, although here we're saving tokens by using LM Studio. Although at the moment it seems to be stuck on generating still.
To be honest, I hope that this will fail, because I have a video on how to create a CRUD project in Flask. I think it's the first on Google. So I'm actually hoping
I'm so
that this
sorry.
I'm joking. But maybe you don't even know that, yes, if you type Rust CRUD REST API, the first video on Google should be mine, first or second, I don't know. And I think, and also Flask is one of my favorite web servers. Probably in terms of performance, it will fail hard against Axum or Actix. But in terms of lines of code, and I did, I think, at least 10 different technologies on this channel, it's the one that uses the least amount of lines of code to actually achieve full CRUD REST API. So we'll see.
Looks like the bot has gotten stuck.
Let's see. We can try. I don't know if we can understand the problem where it could be. Of course, we are live, so we risk our life because we like a risky life.
Yeah.
but at least you will have the real experience. So this is what you have, either this or something which is already prepared, I would say. Let's see if we find it. This is of course intentional. So everything is intentional here. We will see. Do you like this kind of collaborations, this kind of videos? Let me know so we can make more during 2026. Are you putting some prints?
Yeah,
some
just
debugging to understand.
Changing this over.
No problem. If this will work, the final version will have probably just the good part. We can even add some struggling just a bit. But we'll see.
Right.
Yes, totally. Yes. So upside down, you are still here. You asked me if you were recording because you wanted to stay with your girlfriend, but you stayed here in the live event. Okay. It's fine. It's fine.
We don't judge. We listen and we don't.
We don't judge. Yes.
Right.
I'm happy.
Command. Oh.
Let's see.
I know why it's bugging out.
No, I mean, think if someone gets a problem during a live event and if they solve it, should you respect 10 times? Josh, a real hero. For sure. Yes, absolutely. Let's see.
Okay.
Not so, because sometimes they are not even that responsive. So I think also debugging these applications might not be that trivial, because you need to give some time to the LLM to spin up. So let's see. Let's see if we can. I don't know if this code will be available, by the way. Let's see.
Right, I think this should work.
Let's see. I mean, if this is solved, this gets solved, it's 10 times better than having this other for the first try. So it's a bit risky, but we will
it works.
Kudos to Josh. Now you have to go and follow Josh and start rig at this is the bare minimum. If you want to go the extra mile, you also share this video, but you need at least to check it out. So, okay, so this created this Flask CRUD server.py file. Amazing.
Right.
You can write Python code as a Rust developer.
Yeah.
Love it.
I don't need to be good at Python anymore.
I love it.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's difficult to be good at Python, but now you don't have to write it manually.
Okay, of course.
But you can see here that it's basically generated an app using Flask. It's used the correct decorators, I think, and it stores the data as
in memory.
Yeah, in memory storage.
This is no, this is really amazing because basically we generated this Python
Right.
application basically using Rust with the prompt and using rig, right?
Yeah.
I will check the project book, but this is very interesting because, of course, generating code is one of the things that we like the most, and I already see some use cases for this, even to create some videos and just to see the whole process.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can.
So you could.
Sorry, go.
Oh yeah, no, I was just going to say. So you could kind of see before that it was returning like invalid command to itself, and then trying to figure out ways to solve that.
Mm.
So that's kind of part of the like one of the reasons why RLMs are so good. Prime Intellect actually wrote a blog article about RLMs being the paradigm for 2026. Originally, I was actually going to show like just a documentation improvement tool that I was using, but I think this is like after I read their blog post, I was compelled to show this because I thought the people need to know like there's stuff coming. You guys need to be ready.
Yes, yes. So I'm
Yeah.
really, really impressed, and everything I've done has been also debugged live, of course, just for the show. Of course, Josh has done this
Yeah.
mistake intentionally, so you can stay here and we can have some just to put some tension on this. I love it. I love it. And so basically, this is and
Yeah.
so do you think think, do you think it with some adaptation, maybe instead of Pio 3 you can add something?
Yeah.
I was very curious. You can even switch the programming language here.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course. So you could use Lua or JavaScript, or basically as long as you can call it from Rust, it should work. But Python, as many quirks as it also has the most training data. So LLMs are much more likely to be really good at it. It's also likely to be much better at debugging it and executing it, of course, and syntax, which are all really important because they reduce the token cost and they stop you having to intervene quite as much.
Okay.
Yeah. So in terms of like how this thing works, it pretty much just prompts the input here. So it sends this prompt initially, which includes the original query here as input.
Yeah, the thing I like the most about this is that you can have a sort of like fine tuning.
Yeah.
Like if you wanted, let's say, I don't know, to build, you build many services in Python, and you want, I don't know, something which is specific that you repeat on every each server, any application, you can fine tune. It's a sort of like interactive sort of boilerplate, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
sure.
that might be interesting. That might be very interesting. I really like it.
Yeah.
Like it.
Yeah. Once you get the output, we simply pass the command, which we do here somewhere. So pretty much we just pass some text into a command. There's literally no magic going on here. We're pretty much just passing strings. And
of course, here we are showing. Of course, we are showing here the potential, but even when you make a tutorial on CRUD operations, that's not a production ready app.
Yeah, of course.
We are here to showcase what you can do. So, and I don't know if this project will be available. Maybe I will leave a link in case we have it here or later. But this is more to showcase. But we can do a lot with prompts. And of course, the goal here is to showcase potential and how you can, for example, fine tune the creation of some boilerplate for a Python application. Or I don't know if this can even edit an existing project. If I put a Python file inside this this repo. With some tweaks, this could be done, because here we are generating the file ourselves, right? The file is not there.
Yeah.
Maybe
So-
we can even change something. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say, so not only can this run Python commands, it can also, Python scripts. It can also run bash commands as well. So you can pretty much do whatever you want. The next stage of this is actually to implement using Firecracker for code execution, because obviously giving an agent unrestricted access to your system is very unsafe. You shouldn't do it unless you are okay with your system being destroyed or whatever and having to reinstall it.
Josh, some people like to live dangerously, but at least we told you. At least we told you. Then you do whatever you want. But also, you should not copy paste random commands on your terminal. But this is even before agents, so don't do random things, of course. We had a quick question. I think we can get this one by Manish, if you can now. I think this is not about this project, but about the generic rig project, if I'm not wrong. Add another vector store option. PostgreSQL with PG vector and PostGIS.
Could you please? Oh, shit. So in terms of vector store integrations, I would. So the actual the traits that you use to, generate the implementations are all public. So if you want to implement, your own stuff, then you can. At the moment, the rig team cannot accurately account for everyone's use case. So the most we can really do is just to, make as much stuff public as possible, and then you can basically just add whatever you want on, rather than, trying to do everything ourselves and bloating the framework, which is kind of one of the things that we've been trying to balance very carefully with, obviously users have needs. We appreciate that. We try to accommodate as many people as possible. But in terms of, database integrations and stuff, there are pretty much almost like an infinite amount of stuff there, especially when it comes to Postgres, because Postgres itself has, a plugin system. You can, add whatever plugins you want, PG Vector, PostGIS, of course, and other stuff, which makes it really difficult for us to really accurately fill in everyone's use case, essentially. So in terms of how it's actually, let's just quickly go over how it's implemented.
Yeah, sure.
So we have a vector store.
If I stay with this layout, if you can take maybe the font a bit bigger, because you see now we are a bit bigger. You see, we are on the side. Now we are not coding, so we are just reading. I think this format is better, so you can see our beautiful faces.
So
yeah.
Just disregard for a moment how complex the type signature is. So essentially, we have two functions. So this first one here is to fetch a number of results using a filter. And then another function which takes a request and then searches the vector database, returns the IDs minus the JSON payloads. So essentially, you can pretty much do this however you want. There isn't anything really, limiting you. In terms of how the filter works, you essentially need to create your own type. If we go into the repository, go into rig integrations, Postgres, source, library.
Mm-hmm.
So there is actually already like a full implementation here on how you can do it. So you don't need to look too far in terms of how to implement your own filter. So unfortunately, there is a bit of added complexity. But if you get stuck, you can always post a message on the Rig Discord, and we'll be happy to help.
Mm-hmm. No, but it's of course, especially I think with something like Postgres, you need to work more. But I think at some point, I already see some Postgres stuff on the repository. And I think at some point you will get some integration with the whole Postgres database, which I think is a feature that it's requested quite a lot. I think because
we
quite
I mean, we do already have a Postgres integration, right? But it doesn't include Postgres. So if you want to use Postgres for RAG specifically, then you'd have to create your own integration.
Got it. Perfect. So yes, Josh, I really enjoyed this first, let's say, hands-on collaboration. I think we can remove this. We can go like this again. So I thank you so much for you made like a couple of demos. I really enjoyed this because we could see some code. I will leave some links below, of course. I'm quite impressed by the one with Python, so I have to say, and also the basic example, because I see some potential also, because I think especially for people who like to work with multiple programming languages, which I think is the majority of the developers. So you might be shocked, but not all the code in the world is written in Rust. This is shocking, but it's important. For example, even to understand, or maybe let's say that you are a Python developer, but you're also curious about Rust. So maybe the Python code maybe even better than a Rust developer. So you might even you can take two birds, one stone. You can try Rig, generate some Python code that you will understand. You can tweak Rig based on what you want, and then you'll get the final output. And here we took Python as an example, but of course this I think can be done with I think basically all the programming languages. I think all the programming languages have a way to communicate and create something with Rust. I think I was checking this yesterday. A list of how you can create FFI with all different languages. So, and I've seen this by O3. Yes, thank you so much. Pandit also gift a membership. Thank you so much. Thank you, Pandit. Pandit is more into the blockchain ecosystem, but it's interesting. I feel I got the right guest to kickstart this 2026, because I really want to go into that direction. For sure. Today I've been lazy, I have to admit it, but I am excused because I have a talk in 48 minutes. I will go live. I also need to take 10 minutes rest. So thank you so much, Josh, for your examples. If you're curious about Rig, you can check it out in the link below. Don't forget to leave a star, share the project. I think this project is very alive, I can say, because I've seen you and other people, so many contributors. So it might become, the de facto standard. I'll be happy. The de facto standard in building LLM applications using Rust. So for sure. Now that I like the idea that everything we do in Rust, we can, just breathe fresh air, because it's always efficient. So whether everything we want to build, there is this small, let's say, gap at the beginning, especially if you don't know Rust, of course. But then I love the fact, because an efficient programming language, they basically will never die, like C, C++, because there is always a reason to use them. It's one of the things that I think that makes Rust and other programming languages, like efficient programming languages, so interesting. Very interesting. Them extremely promising. You are right. Yes. I'm working on this. Stars. No worries, no worries. But I really wanted to start with Josh because I think he's doing an amazing job. And also because, by having these examples here, I can also take some notes and things. I asked you, have you ever heard about rig? Almost 70% of the people said no before this live event, so this live event was worth it to let people know
That's
more about
crazy.
rig. So usually when I see this result, I'm happy. So it means okay, so we did something new. So now you know. So and I want to make this maybe in 1 year. Probably will get different results. Thank you so much. Thank for the stream. I think that today I will also close the live stream because I have to go and prepare for the live event. Usually I might stay a bit longer after the guest. Josh, you have been a superhero. I think I haven't seen anyone coding without AI. I think in at least a year and a half, including me. So,
Oh god.
that was really really amazing. And I want to
No
do more of
worries.
these things. Thanks.
For sure.
Any final thoughts? Anything that you want to
Um,
share before we wrap
I've
up?
sent you a link to the demo so you can share it.
So you are lucky. You will also get the link to the demo. What do you want more? Perfect. I love it. Love it. So I will share the link here. I will put the link also below. Now, I think that in a couple of weeks, maybe in 10 days, I might share an edited version of this live event. So if you want to come back, we will get some parts, the most important parts of this live event, and we will get this into another video. So that's it, Josh. I will let you know, of course, when the video will be out. That's it. So looking forward to meet you in person in London. I think I need some support because my talk will have this title. Hold on. Rust is not hard to learn. So I try to debunk this myth. I might get killed or I might get very unlucky, but I like challenges.
Well,
So wish me luck because I think that's quite hard as a talk. But I'm taking my notes and taking some stuff. So
yeah,
I'll try to debunk this myth. Let's see if I can do it. Probably not. But
yeah,
let's
you have my support. I mean, my entire tech career has pretty much been Rust, so I can support what you're saying.
exactly. So I will try my best. I'm getting ready. So in about 1 month, this 1 month and a half, I will try to deliver this. I think it will be the hardest talk of my life. But
Yeah.
I like to be a visionary, and that's it.
Yeah.
But hard like assembly. Assembly, I think it's a bit too much. I think this statement is a bit too hard. But we will see. We will see. Anyway, that's it, Josh. Thank you for coming today. Really wish you best of luck. I'm looking forward to take a selfie together, of course, in London.
Of course.
That's it. Okay. Perfect.
All right. See ya.
Okay. Bye. Let me see. I don't know if I can stay 2 more minutes. I think I'll close. Bye.